Hi, and welcome to the ADHD Advocate ADHD Empowerment Month LinkedIn Lives. I'm Stephanie, and I'm the founder of the ADHD Advocate, and we are now in week 3, ADHD at work. So you would have heard from us yesterday where we had Daniela speak about tips for managing ADHD at work. If you didn't watch that live, definitely recommend watching the recording. She gives some very useful, very easy to access tips that you can adopt pretty much straight away. And obviously one of them includes making sure you get the right support. And we definitely encourage you guys to try ADHD coaching and book a call with one of our coaches to see how you can implement those tips, how you can engage your managers to be able to facilitate the accommodations that you need in order to thrive at work. So today we're talking about a very special book. Unfortunately, Mark wasn't able to join us today, but Mark Allan, very special guy, wrote with a huge amount of resources. Basically, Mark Allan came to me for ADHD coaching. And again, I was incredibly impressed, as I am often with a lot of my ADHDers that I coach, at their brilliance. Mark truly is brilliant, and his knowledge of ADHD was significant. His self-awareness, again, really impressive, and the ability of him to articulate his ADHD experience, particularly when it comes to managing the emotions of ADHD, that side of things, really was actually quite a gift to me, but a gift to the world, I guess, given he's now been able to articulate that ADHD experience, a little bit of it anyway, in terms of him personally, but definitely targeted towards, in this book, ADHDers that are looking for jobs. So if you're job seeking. Now, there's quite a bit in here about Mark's background, but he was an employment advisor for NHS Talking Therapies. I think it was the Maudsley. Again, he puts a bit of background in here, but he's already comes to ADHD coaching with a vast experience of dealing with and helping ADHDers that are seeking work. And you'll be able to see all the testimonials. There's some in here. But yeah, he does an incredible job. He's very thorough and he really cares. So everyone that comes to him looking for a job, seeking work, or even maybe wanting to change careers, Mark is always someone that you can count on to really partner with you and make sure that he finds you a career, a job that's going to be really tailored, to something that you want. Because that's really important for ADHDers. We are interest-based. We are hot-wired for interest. And it is important in our jobs that we find something that ignites us, that plays to our strengths, a job where we can stay motivated. Now, the issue, obviously, as with all processes with ADHD, is the application part, right? ADHDers are not very good with forms. And we know this, we acknowledge this, and we try and help ADHDers get around this, for instance, with applications for access to work support. Now, if you've not heard of Access to Work, it's a Department for Work and Pensions program designed to help people with ADHD and other disabilities to access work. And they do that by providing funding for things like ADHD coaching and assistive technology. So you can get funding for remarkable tablets, for instance, planners, noise cancellation headphones, magic whiteboards, a whole host of things that we've got a list actually on our website that I'll put in the comments so you can have a look at the different aids that have helped ADHDers at work that we recommend. So it is really amazing support. But the problem is, in order to access the support, you need to complete a form. And ADHDers are not very good at forms for many reasons. Firstly, forms require, concentration, and they're a little bit mundane. Anything administrative related doesn't have that kind of novelty aspect tends to switch our brains off, because remember, we're hot-wired for interest. So that's one of the challenges. But another challenge, obviously, is that, a lot of the questions require you to be able to locate documents, like maybe it's an employment letter that you've got so that you can specify what date you started the job at. And us ADHDers, again, not great at filing. We have our own interesting filing systems, which usually involves everything that we can see on the floor, on our desk. not very, doesn't look like a system, but actually sometimes there's method to the madness there. But again, this type of thing is definitely going to get in the way of applications. And I was seeing it in coaching. So I'd be coaching people, trying to get them to fill out this form. And actually, Mark sets out in his A to Z an access to work section, which is really helpful, guys. So do get the book, and there's only one small tool that that you're going to benefit from here, but it's definitely a very significant one, because again, it means that you can access coaching, you can access these aids, but the application is difficult. So knowing that, we created an implementation session called our Access to Work application sessions we run every month. And in these sessions, people come in and, we get the forms up, and in real time, we all do the form. And I take people through the form, keep them out of their own way. And my mantra, my rule, no ADHD left behind. Now, ADHDers struggle with perfectionism. Is this, second guessing themselves? Is this the right answer? Is this sufficient? So again, because we're doing it in real time, I help them keep out of their own way and give them permission to move on. And we move on. And I love those sessions because, there's nothing like a session where you're implementing and getting the thing done in real time, and particularly an access to work application, because the kind of massive support that ADHDers will receive now that they've done the application. Well, that is one of the steps. And obviously, without that step, there's no access to work funding. Same thing when you apply for a job, right? If you don't apply, you don't do the application, you're definitely not going to get the job. So, it's part of the process. And again, this is the difficult thing. We can fall down, obviously, first hurdle, first part of the process being the application, but then there's the other parts of the process that is problematic, and access to work is definitely something that is difficult, and you do need help, being able to go through the process, follow the process, and just that accountability to make sure you ring back access to work when they call you. Make sure sometimes you have to do a business plan, which again, not very ADHD friendly, but they put a deadline on it. So if you don't do the business plan, then unfortunately, you don't get your funding. So just like with the job application process, finding a job, what Mark does beautifully in this book is that he sets out all the steps in an ADHD friendly, very friendly way. Not only is the book presented in an ADHD friendly way, and he did his research on this, as I said, is one of the most resourceful ADHDers I've met in my life. Really, I'm not joking. That's not an exaggeration. This guy is the genius. But yeah, he sets out, he did the research to find out even the fonts, what would engage, what kind of book would engage an ADHD and be easy to follow. And as you can see, it is really engaging. It's very visual. You've got like your mind mapping style of things, the points, and it is in a friendly A to Z type manner, which again, Leanne Maskell did with her ADHD and A to Z. Leanne's another of my original ADHD clients that I helped get the book out, published. She was going to keep it in her drawer, can you believe? Which would have been a massive loss to the world. So again, ADHD coaching helped her get that published. She's another genius. And Mark definitely is in a very similar fashion. He needs to get his message and his knowledge out, and he did through ADHD coaching. So it is really easy to read. And what I love about it, he does set up a process, like a 10-step process at the back of his book. The process, as you can see. And it's like a 10-step-by-step process. Again, very ADHD friendly, because we need everything to be broken up, be manageable. We need a roadmap. And this is what Mark beautifully does. He gives out a roadmap for ADHDers to follow. Step 1 being how much, you need to earn. Step 2 being a job target sheet. And what's again, which something that is fantastic and so ADHD friendly, is the use of his QR codes. Basically, Mark does all the work for you. And, again, because it comes from that ADHD perspective, he knows what would get in his way. He's written the book from his own lens in terms of, yeah, that would be a problem. Or in terms of, people in his employment advisory job, the challenges they've had, and then trying to make sure that that challenge is overcome by one of these steps. So, it's so well informed and really removes the barriers. And he's keeping these things that you can print off as part of the process inside and in mind, which, when you're applying for jobs, you got to keep things inside and in mind. So you've got a monthly budget sheet, you've got a job target sheet. That's my time timer, by the way. And time timer is something that you can also get through Access to Work funding. He's got a job target sheet as well. Yep. And then he helps you create a LinkedIn account. He has tips for researching companies, who are going to offer you a target job. And he's got like a spreadsheet for that. He helps you create the letters, a speculative letter, and then setting up saved searches, and then applying for jobs. And in order to do that, he provides a really helpful kind of weekly, day-to-day functional guidance to help you obviously sustain yourself and be able to follow this process. So, for instance, there's a weekly planner that you can download. And it's amazing. And you can actually connect with Mark at the back here, because Mark also is a coach for us at the ADHD Advocate. He's our job coach. We are very privileged to have him and his wealth of knowledge. Similarly, Leanne, when she wrote her book too, she started off with the ADHD Advocate and coached for us as well. So yeah, I anticipate great things for Mark. Mark too. So Mark will be providing, he's actually in the process of creating a group job seeking course for ADHDers. So there'll be a group offering, which we're really excited to collaborate with him on. And that will hopefully be available in the near distant future, the near future. I don't think you can put those two together. In the near future. And luckily we've got our IT guy, Lee, who is very much, again, he's also a genius in what he does. We're very lucky at the ADHD Advocate. We have some amazing people working for us. We wouldn't be able to do what we do so well without these people. But Lee can just create a course like that. And so I'm sure that the course will be up and running fairly soon. So yes, again, if you guys haven't bought this book, if you work with anyone, any ADHDers that need to look for a job or are interested in changing careers, I definitely think back when I was coaching a lot of grads that came out of university and applying for grad positions, this would have been so handy. It really would. It would have cut out my work a lot. So grad positions, it's fantastic because it's just got all the tools. You don't need to go and reinvent. You don't have to create the plan and create the tracker. Everything you can think of, Mark has thought of already, and it's in here. So if you haven't got this book, if you're a coach and there happens to be ADHDers, which I'm sure there are that you're coaching, buy the book. Okay, so you can buy it on Amazon at the moment as well. I think there's a hard copy version, and I got the hard copy one because be using this a lot in my practice. So yeah, definitely do grab yourself a copy. So that is me today, and hopefully we'll get Mark along to our ADHD Coaching Summit. And on that, so this is our second ADHD Coaching Summit. We hosted the UK's first ADHD Coaching Summit last year, which is very exciting. And we had David Gawerk open the summit. He's the founder of ADCA, and he will be opening this year's as well. So to learn more about ADHD in the workplace, do register for our online coaching summit. The day we're covering that is 31 October. And I'm hoping that we have the pleasure of Mark opening up day 2 of the summit to talk more about ADHD at work and give his tips on how to find the job that you want and how to thrive in work. So fingers crossed, we will see him on the 31st. So tomorrow we'll have one of our other coaches, Zanthi, speak about ADHD and menopause, which is quite a topic in the workplace now, very much more on the workplace agenda, which it needs to be. And it's when you mix the ADHD and the menopause that you'll see why it's such an important topic. an issue to be aware of in the workplace. And Xanthi is going to give you some tips on how to manage menopause with ADHD. So tune in at 1 o'clock tomorrow for that. Thank you for listening, and enjoy tomorrow's live. And I will see you very soon, I'm sure.